All right, I want to welcome everybody to this recording. My name is Brian Gibbons, and my guest today is Engelo from Toledo, Ohio. Engelo, how are you, mate? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Brian. How about yourself?
Great. Angelo's got a fantastic business in Ohio, and we're going to go through how we can help real estate investors and regular passive investors make money in real estate in a very cost-effective market with high yield. I mean, my background is coaching one-on-one, helping people use real estate investing for wealth building and also using seller financing, rent to own and things of that nature. So, Engelo, tell me a little bit about what your focus is in Toledo. Can you help me understand that?
Sure. Well, pretty much, Brian, we buy rundown distressed properties. We fix them up to a great standard. We look at getting them tenanted, and then we sell them to investors.
So this is a turnkey opportunity for people to be able to buy it for cash and then hold it for a long-term investment. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct. Pretty much, the properties that we offer are completely hands-off. They're turnkey. They need no work whatsoever. We get great tenants in them that want to stay for at least 1 to 2 years. Normally the average cap rate that we offer is between 13 to 15%. And yeah, I mean, they're in solid B-class areas. They offer great exit strategies where you can either sell it to an investor or an owner-occupier one day. So yeah, in my opinion, Toledo, Ohio is a great market for this type of product. And Ohio in general is a great market for these types of investment properties.
Okay, terrific. Let's talk a little bit about financing. Can you help somebody who would be interested in getting one of these with like 20% down and getting financing locally for the property?
Yes, well, we've actually had quite a few investors approach us recently looking to get finance, and we've reached out to quite a few local mortgage brokers here in town. We've got one investor in the process of getting finance on one of these properties. So, yeah, finance should not be an issue at all as long as the borrower has a decent credit score and a borrowing capacity. The banks love the particular areas that we're working in, so I really don't see any issues with investors getting finance on our properties.
Okay, great. Now, do you work well with people that have money in their IRA and they want to use their IRA to be able to buy an investment property for their retirement?
Yes, that's something that we're looking at introducing very shortly. We haven't worked with anyone as of yet, but hopefully in the near future we can roll out something to work with investors that have money in their IRA accounts.
Okay, terrific. And one of the best custodians out there is very close to where you are. It's up in the Cleveland area, and it's called Equity Trust. It's one of the oldest custodians that specialize in IRAs. So, so basically, tell me a little bit about the price range of your turnkey rentals. From what range to what range, and what kind of rents can you expect?
Well, normally, I guess the average on most of the properties is between $40,000 to $45,000. Okay. If the investors get independent appraisals, they will appraise at retail or below market value. The average rents tend to be between $750 to $850, sometimes a little bit higher depending on if the area is a little bit more desirable. So as I said, $40,000 to $45,000, $750 to $850 per month in rent, and after all costs, it's around a 13, 14, 15% net. And the investors, have to take out their own calculations in regards to the maintenance and vacancy. But I really don't see more than 15% off the bottom line in maintenance and vacancy, just because, the quality of workmanship that we put into the rehab is second to none. And, the tenants that are staying in these properties, might actually consider buying them from you one day. So they're good quality tenants also.
Okay, great. Tell me a little bit about the property management. If somebody's out of state, like I live in California, and they wanted to buy something from you, I mean, how can you reassure the investor that the property is going to be well managed?
Well, that's one of the most important things, and I'm very glad that you mentioned that. We've actually, in the process of setting in-house property management, and we believe that, with having in-house property management, it's crucial to success, to ongoing success once the sale has been made. And all I have to do these days is, just knock on the door and put my head in and see how our property management team is going. So, mate, I guess the key there is prompt communication. If you've got property management that's active and responsive, and they reply and answer in a timely manner to any inquiry that the investor makes, I really don't see how you can fail. I mean, real estate is a roller coaster ride, and there are many ups and downs. But where it starts to get a little bit ugly is when the people that you're working with, or when you've bought property from certain operators, if they don't reply in a timely manner, I really don't think that's a good way moving forward. And for most of the out-of-state and out-of-country investors, the only thing that they have connecting them to that property is, the people on the ground. So, communication is definitely the number one key. And we're all on standby 24/7 to respond to any inquiry and assist in any way we can.
Okay. So let's say that we had out of numbers, out of 100 tenants, you're going to have one or two that's going to need an eviction. Can you help your out-of-state or your out-of-your-country investors with that if you needed to?
Of course. Pretty much everything is handled by us. They can be completely hands-off besides signing a few docs. We've got a local attorney here on the ground that we work with that handles, all of our evictions. So, of course, we don't want it to come to that, but, if need be, we can definitely look after that for them.
One of the things that I think is awesome is, basically the rate of return for, your real rate of return on these properties are over 10%. You can't get that in many places in the United States, or even in Sydney and Melbourne, or over in Auckland, overseas. So at the end of the day, you really are putting your money to work. And I mean, if you can get 4 or 5 of these things, it's much better than, let's say, a $300,000 property that rents out for $1,500 in Cincinnati. You're doing much better.
Yep.
And you're spreading your risk out by having several properties. They can't all go to custody at one time, right?
Well, that's correct, mate. I 100% agree with you there, and I know it might sound corny, but I really don't know any other better investment opportunity out there at the moment, besides property here in the Midwest, in particular Ohio and Michigan. And those figures that we promised on paper are the actual true numbers. They're not fake numbers like a lot of other, companies that you'll see out there. So, they're solid B-class areas, and those numbers are very, very, very achievable.
Okay, great. Now, if somebody, let's say in Los Angeles or New York City, wanted to fly out and to Toledo and see you in person, you don't have any problem with that, right?
No problem at all. As long as they don't mind driving around in my small PT Cruiser, I'm happy to entertain them. And I actually encourage every one of our investors to come to town, to see the area, see the product, meet the team. More than happy to spend the day with them. And I always like to say, if we don't do any business, well, I hope I can at least point them in the right direction. And you never know what the future brings.
Well, at the end of the day, I think you've got some of the best numbers in the United States, and that's why we're on the phone today. I'm going to have your contact details below this video. Please give Engelo a call and fly out to see him. You got nothing to lose but a plane ticket. And if you can get over 10% on your money, whether it's an IRA or an all-cash purchase, Engelo will help you with every single step of the way. Engelo, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Brian. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
All right. All the best to you.
Thanks, mate.